Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review. This week I am reviewing an anime that I was quite excited for spring 2018, but at the same time also had major reservations for. I mean the alternate storyline Sword Art Online anime, conveniently called Sword Art Online Alternative Gale Online. With the release of SAO 3 coming very close, I was eager to get into this anime, and I hoped, but also feared a bit, if this adaptation wouldn't just be a cheap copy of the original franchise. This alternate storyline focuses on Karen Kohirui Maki, a girl who is quite large for her age, and she does have a major complex about this. Because of this, Karen doesn't really fit in the real world. But one day she gets introduced into the world of VR gaming in a game called Gale Online, which we all know from SAO 2. There Karen plays the cute little pink character called Len. In GGO she meets Pito Hui, a fellow female player, and she enters a tournament called Squad Jam with a friend of Pito Hui called M. But soon Len learns that there is more at stake than just a VR tournament. As my first positive point, I want to address the reservations that I had for this anime. Anime history has given this kind of alternate storyline adaptations a bad name, especially if they come from a major franchise like Sword Art Online. In the past, this kind of adaptations either stood in the shadow of the main anime or made the anime feel ashamed for being related to it. So when I saw this announcement, I had a double feeling and really hoped that SAO Alternative wouldn't suck. Fortunately, my hopes became true. SAO Alternative was a hell of a lot better than I anticipated. There are of course some obvious references to SAO 2, but it didn't feel like this anime was clinging to the name Sword Art Online to make its fame. The story wasn't as deep as the one of SAO, but it also wasn't a cheap copy. SAO Alternative had its own independent original story, and I was so happy for that. To me, SAO Alternative is an anime that you can watch even when you haven't seen the original SAO animes. A second thing I was surprised about in a good way was the animation. There are two things that basically everyone agrees on A1 did well in Sword Art Online: the music and the animation. As you know, I love A1's animation style, and the animation in Sword Art Online was really good. So SAO Alternative being made by a much smaller, younger and lesser known studio was a risk. But as I said, I was positively surprised. Studio 38Z or 3Hz, however you need to pronounce it, did a great job with very clear and sharp animation, just the way how I like it. For only being their fifth anime, this was already a high standard, but they proved that to me before in Princess Principle. And my final positive point was the opening song Ryusei. That this OP was going to be bomb was less of a surprise than the animation, since it was performed by Air Aoi, who also made Ignite the opening of SAO 2. Back then I loved Ignite, and it was even nominated for my 2016 award for Best Opening Song. And Ryusei had the same energy drive as Ignite back in the days. And fun fact, Air will also perform the new ending song for SAO 3. Now for the negative part of this review. There were two things that I was a bit disappointed about in SAO Alternative. The first one was that we didn't get to see Karen's development in the real world. It was clear that she did have a major complex about her height, but because of GGO she started to overcome this and opened up on a social level. We got to see a few shots of that, but for the most part it was overlooked. I would have liked to see how GGO influenced Karen's life in the real world. the most logical explanation is that there just wasn't time for this in the 12 episodes. The second thing I was disappointed about was who Pito Hui eventually was. The entire anime, the main question is who this crazy person behind Pito Hui is. But when it then was revealed in the final episode, my reaction was, what? Without going into details for obvious spoiler reasons, the true identity of Pito Hui was far-fetched. It didn't feel like a logical conclusion to this story. Judging by how batshit crazy Pito Hui was, I expected her player to have a bit more layering than the character who it eventually appeared to be. So as a conclusion, I was quite skeptical going into this anime, but it superseded my expectations. SEO Alternative is a worthy alternate storyline to the great Sword Art Online franchise. It didn't stand in the shadow of it, neither did it cling to the name SAO to be successful. Despite a few things that could have been better in my opinion, I still had a really good time watching this anime. For my spring 2018 season, I put it at the second place, and therefore I am going to rate Sword Art Online Alternative Gale Online at 4 out of 5 stars. Together with the Ordinal Scale movie, which I finally managed to watch, I am now completely warmed up for the third season of the main SAO franchise coming out next month. Best recommendation for this anime is of course the main Sword Art Online franchise, one of the most popular but also one of the most dividing animes ever made. I personally am a fan of the SAO franchise, so obviously go watch it if you enjoyed this alternate story. A second recommendation will be Princess Principal. This was the anime 3HZ made before SEO Alternative, and also there I was positively surprised. It is quite a bit darker and serious than SEO Alternative, but you might want to give it a shot if you like 3HZ's style. And with that I conclude my review of Sword Art Online Alternative Gale Online, which means that I only have one anime left to do for spring 2018, and it's nothing less than my anime of the season. So look forward to it because I already am. As usual, you can find the full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put it in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. Then I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.